Good morning. It's Tuesday and we have questions. So I have a little bit of time. I have a meeting in just about 15 minutes. Actually got on a little bit late here. So about 15 minutes, but definitely enough time to go over a couple of key points with you guys today that you've been asking, that we keep reviewing. From our Q&A last week, who had a good time last week with our Q&A with Jamie. Jamie was here and we had an awesome night. Good morning, people joining us. It says Facebook's building my audience for me now. You're already there. Facebook's just putting you here, letting you know. We're starting. So yes, good morning. Hi, Lara. Good morning. So a couple questions, as I was saying. I don't have a lot of time, but you guys are posting and I see some questions from some mommies that really need answers. And you know me, I hate, it'll be on my mind all day. And so, you love the Q&A from last week. Good. I'm so glad. It was so fun. We had such a good time and it was great to have him here as always. And I guess, you know, the content is just awesome to be able to talk to you guys and answer your questions. And you always have such great questions. So again, I was saying we got some questions on the wall today. And then also last week when I was talking to you guys with Jamie, I know there was some question coming up about something that I had gone over as far as how to use the pump and stimulate multiple letdowns so that you get more milk. And a bunch of you had written to me privately and also on my wall saying that you used the method and you were getting like 50% more milk. Some people sent me pictures of their milk. It was just awesome. So I want to just quickly go over that with you guys too and answer like two questions here because I think they're important. Well, I know they're important for the people that are asking, but they may be important for you too. So good morning. Yeah. So anyway, let's just quickly go over the question that came in here right now, because I think this was just posted from Ryan and Jillian. So I'm assuming, oh, it's from Jillian. She actually said from Jillian here. So Jillian said, hi there. A friend of mine directed me to you. I'm looking for help and guidance. My second son was born on September 8th. He was an awesome breastfeeder in the hospital. Our first night home, he wanted nothing to do with it. The nurse told us to supplement. Since then, my son is an instant gratification baby. I'm struggling getting him to be happy with the breast rather than just doing formula in a bottle. I'm putting him to my breast as often as I can, and sometimes he loves it, and other times he is so unhappy. My goal is to be 100% breast. I'm pumping as often as I can. Looking forward to your help and guidance from Jillian. Okay. So this is really, it's just sad to me when I think of like the nurse giving advice, like just give the baby a bottle. Because right off the bat, you know, when the baby's so young, your first night home from the hospital, introducing that bottle is going to give the baby that instant gratification, especially, I don't know whether from this question she had a C-section or she had a vaginal birth, how quick after delivery she actually went home. Might only been 2 days after the delivery. And so she probably wasn't even making that much milk. And the baby probably didn't even need to stay on very long. Short, frequent feedings is all that's needed in those first couple days to get the colostrum. So who knows what was going on, but I would not say that switching to a bottle would be the first thing, especially without an exam or anything like that. But let's get to her question and what can she do now? One of the best, first of all, number one, I'm going to say, reach out and find a lactation consultant in your area because you need to work with somebody directly. If your baby is not on the breast and you're pumping, and it's this early in the game. I mean, the baby's only like 2 weeks old and you want 100% breastfeed. It is not too late, but you need to get help now. So I would say find somebody. I don't even know if you're in my area, but if you're in my area, message me because, you know, I do consultations and I can also do them over the phone or through Skype. But this kind of thing, I feel like you need somebody right there with you. The first thing that I would do if I was seeing you in person would be to make sure that your milk supply is established. It sounds like it is with the pumping that you're doing. But there are ways to get the baby to breast. Like you said, sometimes he latches, sometimes he doesn't. Those times I'm going to assume are probably when the breast is really, really full, like first thing in the morning. When you get that milk ejection, that milk letdown, the baby doesn't have to do much except suck gently and the milk's pouring into their mouth, sort of like the bottle. Those times later in the afternoon, the baby may actually fight the breast and not want it because they actually have to do a little more working for it. So it's hard to say what's happening without actually seeing you. Another way to do this is if you're pumping extra milk and giving it to the baby in the bottles when the baby does reject the breast, with a lactation consultant, you can get what's called a supplemental nursing system, which will actually put your breast milk into a container with a tube to your breast, a tube to your nipple, so that you can latch the baby to the breast and supplement at the breast at the same time. This will encourage the baby to suck at the breast, which will will drain the breast and create more milk. It'll keep the baby on the nipple on your breast rather than a bottle, so that the baby doesn't have that nipple confusion that is probably happening here. It's not just nipple confusion. What's happening here is the baby is getting used to that heavy flow of a bottle and doesn't want to work. So back to the breast as soon as possible is the way to go. There's also ways to finger feed at those feedings, those just intermittent feedings where the baby won't take the breast. There's also cup feeding. All those things would be important to you versus a bottle right now. Okay, that's not to say all of you should not introduce a bottle. That's a whole other conversation for babies who are at the breast. We're not even going to get into that. This is specifically for Jillian right now, or for any of you guys who are struggling in those early weeks, or even the first month or two where the baby is struggling and you want to breastfeed. Okay, bottles at that point are not a good thing. Neither are pacifiers at that point. So you want to keep putting the baby to the breast, and lots of skin to skin. Skin-to-skin contact is not only nice, it doesn't just feel good, it actually facilitates breastfeeding. It triggers those natural instincts in the baby and triggers those reflexes in the baby for the baby to actually latch to the breast. So wanting to be at the breast, letting those instincts kick in, skin to skin will do that. Okay, so the more skin to skin you can do, Jillian, the better. I would actually be wearing the baby around the clock right now. This is a small young baby around the clock between your breasts. Take off your shirt, take off the baby's clothes, and get a wrap and put that baby against your chest and just do skin to skin right now. Okay, so that's my answer. And find a lactation consultant, because there are other ways to go about this. I just talked for a long time. Okay, I'm trying to get this out because I have more to do here, and then I have to get off the line because I have to get on a meeting. So are you guys doing okay? Did you understand what I just went over there? I hope so, because I spoke really fast. I just realized that. Joe's sitting at his desk over there chuckling at me because he could hear me talking. Yeah. Okay. Let's just leave that question alone right now. Let's go right to the pump instruction, because I know you guys need this, and I'll be back and we'll do another Q&A maybe later on today or tomorrow, and answer some more of your questions, but that one just seemed really urgent for me. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I talked about how to use your breast pump, how to maximize your milk expression using your pump. And a lot of you guys, like I said, wrote to me right after the demonstration, have messaged me, have sent me pictures of your milk saying it totally worked. When you knew how to use your pump properly, it made such a difference. So I'm going to just show you real quick again. And we went over this with Jamie on the Q&A last week, and he said, oh, where's that video? So I'm just redoing it here so you guys can see it, okay? What you need, first of all, is a pump that has independent speed, and I have a Band-Aid on my finger, so that's why it looks like that. Okay, so there's independent speed and suction controls on this pump. This is not the only pump that has that. As long as you can independently operate your speed and suction, you can do what I'm saying here, okay? The way that you want to use your pump is that initially, and you might want to take notes on what I'm saying, okay? Initially, you want to start with your speed turned up, okay, as high up, and your suction turned low. All right, that's going to stimulate your first letdown where the milk is going to start expressing. You need to stimulate this response in order for the milk to flow. It's not just about the suction of the pump, just like it's not just about the suction of your baby sucking. It is a combined response of your body reacting and having that letdown, reaction, reflex, at the same time as that negative pressure of the pump or the baby's mouth. So you need to create that stimulation. The way to do that is start off with the speed all the way up and the suction all the way down. Center your nipples into the flanges completely. Make sure that your flange is fitting properly. We'll talk about that on another one. But get your flanges on there and turn that pump on. Now, keep the pump on. It may take a minute or two. It could take a little less, but a minute's about the approximate time. You're going to start to see milk dripping into the bottle, okay? Milk starts to drip. That means you're getting that letdown response. It's not from the suction. Remember, your suction is low. Milk is starting to express out through that reflex, that milk ejection reflex. As soon as you see that, you go ahead to your pump and you turn your speed down and you turn your suction up. Okay, so that speed goes down, not all the way down, but maybe halfway down. Your suction goes up, not all the way up, maybe halfway up, wherever it is, so that it's comfortable and not hurting. Okay, you don't, the harder the suction is not the faster the milk. So a comfortable pace with the suction and slow down your speed. So now you're in expression mode. Your speed is down, your suction is up, and you should start to see milk dripping, kind of expressing more than just a drip into the bottle, into the bottle, into the bottle. And that will go on for a couple minutes. And then you will start to see it slow down. Okay, that's completely normal. That's when people usually turn off their pump, they're compressing their breast, they're trying to do all these other things, and they're not getting the milk out. That's because the pump needs to stimulate it. Again, the way to do that is the second letdown, or multiple letdowns after that first one. The second one, you're not turning your suction down anymore. Okay, this is the mistake that so many people make. You leave your suction exactly where it was, and now you're just working with your speed dial. Okay, so that when you feel the milk starting to slow down, you go over and you increase your speed all the way back up again, and you let it run for another 30 seconds to a minute till you start to see the dripping. Then you turn your speed back down and you go into expression mode. All right. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? You're not touching your suction. Leave your suction where it's comfortable for your second or your third letdown. Okay. Yes, so then you're just increasing your speed and decreasing your speed. That is going to stimulate your second letdown. That will happen again and again, and you can do multiple 3, 4, 5 letdowns in one sitting, and these can go quick. But what you will notice is that by the end of the pumping session, you will have expressed more milk. Okay, this is working with your body. This is not putting it up to the pump and saying, okay, how hard can I make this thing suck on my breast? That's not how the milk comes out. What you're trying to do, stimulate your body to express milk the same way that your baby does. Okay, and if you watch your baby breastfeeding, if you're not exclusively pumping, but sometimes breastfeeding, sometimes pumping, watch your baby and think about what the baby's actually doing. The baby is not releasing suction when that milk starts to slow down. You just start to see them sucking a little quicker for a minute and then gulping again. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. Somebody asked a question about the Medela pump. How do you do this? Jillian asked, how do you do that with the Medela pump in style? It only has one knob and one letdown button. Yeah. Okay, there I am. I'm not gone. Okay, the problem with that is you can't. Okay, yeah, and Lindsay just answered your question. You don't, unfortunately. The Medela pump has one dial, so that when you turn up the speed, the suction's automatically dropping. When you turn down the speed, the suction goes up. It's inversely related. It does it for you. And that's why when I talk about the 3 things that are most important to have in a breast pump is to have that, one of them is the individual speed and suction controls, because that's going to help you express more milk. I'm sorry to say, I don't know what else to explain to you other than try going back into letdown mode with the Medela. It may not work as well as an individual speed and suction. Okay, that's why I love the Evenflo Feeding pump. That's why I designed it this way with them. Yes, the Spectra has that too. The Amitas have that. The Ardos have, all those other pumps do have individual speed and suction, so it's not the other one. I would say, so Kaylin, okay. Yeah, Kaylin's saying that's why her Medela never worked as well as her Evenflo. That's exactly right, Kaylin. That's exactly why. It's not one doesn't have to suck harder than the other, which, by the way, they both have the same maximum suctions, which you're probably never using anyway. Okay, that's not the key. The key here is to stimulate letdown. It's a whole other way of pumping with proper flange fit. Okay, so Yeah, if you guys don't have this pump or don't have a pump or you got a Medela or you're like, pump's not working for me, the Evenflo Feeding pumps are really affordable. You can get the whole basic model for under $100. They're at Walmart, they're at Target.com, they're on Babies R Us, Buy My Baby. You can get them pretty much everywhere. Just go over to your local CVS. They have them on the shelf there and you'll see my picture on the box and it'll come with my classes too. So I hope that was helpful. Did everybody get a little lesson did anybody try it? Everybody like that advice? Okay, I want to hear all about your success with what I just told you. If you go ahead and try this today, I would like you to post about it on my wall. I would like you to tell me how it's going. I'd like you to ask me questions about it because I think this is one of the biggest things I can teach you right now when it comes to pumping. It seems like a lot of people don't know how to do this and it makes a huge difference, okay? Yeah, one more thing. Somebody asked, how long should an ideal session be for a missed feeding? You can never fully empty your breast, okay? Your breast is never fully empty. So I would say that with using the proper controls and the proper flange sizing, your pumping session should take no more than 15-20 minutes. All right, that's the truth. I know you guys are gonna say, yeah, but I pump for half an hour. It really should not take longer than 15-20 minutes if you're doing it and using your pump properly and you have the correct flange sizes. You may need to do some hand compression while you're pumping. Some people need to, some people do fine without it. But the pumping should not take that long. If it's taking a really long time, it's most likely due to not using the pump and stimulating your body the way you need to. Yes. So tell me how it works.